everybody. We are going to jump right in today because this is kind of a shorter session all about balancing, and we're going to do some inversions. And we're starting in a standing position, kind of a straddle, where your heels are on the outside of your shoulders. So when you look down, you should see a pretty wide stance, and you might end up having to take that wider depending on how low you can squat. So let's take a big deep breath in. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bring your elbows into your sides and just squat as low as you can to kind of a plie squat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, out and down. And as we go through this little sunflowers here, I want you to notice your foundation through your toes, through your heels, and you're using your entire foot to help you balance. And today is a lot about balance. So I want you to feel the ground below you. If you find that you're rocking back and forth, what you might do is turn your toes a little more forward, but still try to keep your knees going outward. Okay, so our knees are going to track over our toes. All right, so you guys keep working through this. I have my family here with me, so if I look like I'm directing people, I am. So we're trying to get the knees out as wide as possible. Let's go one more through sunflowers. And then when our moonflowers happens, our knees and feet and all of that do the same thing, but we're bowing forward. So inhale up, exhale, squat and bow forward. Take your head to the floor, and then all the way back up. So this is definitely going to challenge your balance. And all we've really done is changed our sight, where we're looking, or our drishti. So drishti is where you're looking, where you're focusing. So changing your sight or your focus can actually change how much balance you have to use. So notice that as you go back and forth through this. Make sure as you round up, you're kind of like tucking the tailbone, rounding through the whole spine. This is not like a swan dive type thing. This is more of a rounding up and rounding down, okay? And then we're working on breath. One more time, you guys. There are sunflowers and moonflowers. Excellent. Once you finish that last one, let's meet together in mountain pose. So you've got hips or feet hip distance apart, palms facing forward. Take a couple of breaths, just maybe take the eyelids a little downcast. You've got relaxation through the shoulders. And maybe just kind of shrug the shoulders, release them. Let's bend the knees, straighten a couple times. You can even bend one knee and then the other, let the hips kind of go side to side. Just kind of loosen up or feel any tightness that you may have through the body. And then we're going to use our breath here just to relax a little bit. So slight bend through the knees, all 10 toes into the mat. Let's rock back onto the heels. Pull the toes up, spread the toes out, and then dig them back in. Foundation is super important today in everything that we do. And so as you continue to breathe here through your mountain posture, I want to tell you also about a couple of props that I have. And you will possibly need these today, so maybe go ahead and grab them. If you have something like old-fashioned oats, it's just a little cylinder tube. You could have a can of green beans. I also have something a little bit bigger, my protein powder bottle. So if you have something a little bit bigger, and this all depends on how far up off the ground you want to be. So if you have a yoga block, those are typically about 6 inches. You can turn it on its side to make it about 8 inches. So something like that. You could use something shorter, or you may not need anything at all. But if you think you might, when you're balancing, we'll be kind of bending over and touching this thing. So if you need a little more space up off the ground, that's what this is for. So, all right, we're going to work into sun salutations first. So coming to the top of your mat, which is just like the front side, if you think of it as the front and the back, or the top and the bottom, let's come to the top. Back into our mountain pose. And we're going to sweep the arms up, take a big breath in, and go right into a swan dive. So hinging at the waist, keep your legs straight as long as you can. And then we're going to bend at the knees and make sure you're really bending deeply here. From here, on our next inhale, we're coming to chair pose. So chair pose is just kind of leaving the legs bent, bringing the chest up, and the arms go straight up over your head. So you're kind of reaching out and up. Back a little bit. So let's stay here for a second. Hold on to it, belly in tight. You should start to feel the burn. This is important because we want to be warm for what we do next. Take a breath in, bow forward on your exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Slide the fingertips up to the knees, everybody. Flatten the back. Start to feel that stretch through the hamstrings as you have a flat back. Let's release the hands from the knees and just take them straight out. So now you really have to engage the entire core to hold yourself up. Breath in. Exhale, collapse to bent knees. Reverse swan dive. Take it out and up all the way. Inhale. Exhale through heart center. Inhale, sweep it up. Swan dive and fold. Inhale to chair pose. Reach those arms up by your ears. Sit low. Nice tight core. Breathe in. Exhale, collapse. Inhale, halfway lift. Drop the hands out, monkey pose. Exhale, collapse. Reverse swan dive, out and up. You got the pattern. Let's change the footing a little bit. So, a little more challenge through the balance. When we bring our toes all the way together, big toes together, heels just like slightly, like a ½ inch apart. So not much space. Just enough so that when we take our heels together and toes apart, that's a different kind of a stance. There's a lot of balance, a lot of surface that you're covering. When we bring those toes together, heels slightly apart, it's causing you to have to balance. So that's why we're doing it that way. All right, sweep it up, breath in. Big breath in, swan dive. Forward fold, can you feel the hamstrings stretching a little bit? Inhale to chair pose. So now we're squeezing the knees and inner thighs. Look down, make sure that you are sitting back far enough that you can wiggle those toes a little bit. And I want you to be able to see your toes. Big breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Release, monkey pose. Inhale here. Exhale, collapse. All right, we're taking hands to the mat, step back to plank position. Once you're in that plank, we're gonna hold here. Tuck the tailbone, press through the whole hand, all the fingers digging in. Let's rock back so that you're pushing like your heels back toward the wall behind you. So if you're way up on your tippy toes, let's go back. And then from here, we're gonna lift the tailbone into downward dog. If you cannot do this downward dog today, we're sitting back for child's pose. There's always a modification, so don't give up. Find something that works for you. Press the heels in. Now we're gonna walk this dog. So bending one knee, bending another knee. Let the hips go side to side. Get that movement, feeling every little tight spot that you might have through the body here. We're just gonna feel it. And then get ready to press into that downward dog. Take a breath, sink into your down dog. Now looking forward from here, we're coming back to plank. Go all the way up on the tippy toes and lower for chaturanga. And then upward dog. Or baby cobra if you know your modifications here. We're working into that modified version. I'll go ahead and walk through it now. So if you're in child's pose, you can do the modification with me if you want, or back to downward dog. From here, we're coming to modified plank, knees on the ground. Exhale, lower, and then lift for baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Back to child's pose or downward dog. Let's go through it one more time. Inhale all the way forward. Exhale, lower. Keep that breath going with your movement. We're flowing. All right, let's take the right leg and we're lifting it up off the ground, but keeping the hips squared. So no opening the hips here. Keep the hips squared. Push through the heels so you're flexing the toes in the back. We're gonna take the knee forward and step it all the way through. So we find ourselves in a lunge position here. Once you get into that lunge, if you feel good about bringing the hands up to the knees, or the knee, let's do that. So both hands up to the knee. If not, you're staying here to keep that balance. The back toe is digging in to help support you. And then I want you just to lean in and feel the stretch on the front hip there on the hip flexor. You might also feel it on the inner thigh here. So we're leaning in, keep the chest nice and tall. Sink in as deep as you can right now. Take a big deep breath in. On your exhale, we're coming back off of that. Create more of a 90-degree angle here. And arms come up to cactus, goalpost, whatever you want to call it here. feeling with your knee on the ground is too much, fold your mat up or put a blanket under there, okay? So we're holding here nice and tight, kind of tuck that tailbone in and feel kind of the balance that you have to keep here. Your arms should help you with that. So if you need even more help with balance, you can straighten the arms out for airplane. If you want to challenge yourself in this modified balance posture, you can bring your hands to heart center. We're just breathing and holding here. I want you to feel like you have a little bit of tension or pressure here on the inside, so you're really using your foundation with your feet. One more breath. Hands to the mat. Lifting the knee up in the back, so we're coming to kind of a runner's lunge position. We're going to hold here for a big deep breath. And then lift the tailbone, we're pushing forward. So we're coming with the feet together. Walk your hands forward. Kind of lift that foot up off the ground if you can, so you're kind of standing on one leg for a second. And then we're going to bring both feet down to meet one another. Now, this is where you might want your prop. So if you're here, and when we did all of that stuff here, let me just show you something really quick. You're in your lunge. If you need help there coming forward, that can really help lift you up and you're balancing here, or you can even use just one hand. So that's what your prop is for today. If you want to grab it, have it nearby, okay? And we're just going to hang over and forward fold for a minute. So here's another place where you might need that prop. If you can't bend over that far and you need something to help you on the floor, take your prop. You can even turn it on its side, just a little extra support as we hang in forward fold. So we're just hanging in forward fold, everybody. And as you hang here, we're letting the head dangle, letting the shoulders round. Take a big deep breath in, kind of sink into it a little bit more. Very nice. All right. Taking the hands back to the mat, but keeping the head low. We're going to step back with that same foot. So we've got left leg going back, or was it right leg? I can't remember now. I think it was left. And then we're going to sweep that other leg back so we're in plank position. Go way up on the tippy toes, and then go way back on the heels for down dog. Holding in your down dog. Take a big deep breath here and sink into the heels. Taking left leg into the air. So we reach up, press through that heel. So you're reaching back with your heel, keeping the hips low. Then we're going to bring the knee to the chest and step it through. So we find ourselves back in that modified lunge. Put the knee down. We're leaning into it. Kind of get that lean in feeling here. When you're ready, bringing the hands up to the knee and sitting tall. So we're going to sink in, take a big breath, put some pressure on the knee with those hands if you need to. Toe in the back is helping you, so feel your foundation. This is important. Just bring awareness to your foundation. Feel that nice stretch. Take a deep breath in and sink into it on your exhale. On our next breath in, we're backing off to that 90-degree angle in the front. Arms up to goalpost. Challenge your balance here. If you feel good with cactus arms, and that might feel good just to open the chest. You can kind of draw the shoulder blades together, open the chest. If you need that stretch, stay here. If you want to work on that balance portion, hands to heart center. Focus on your foundation. Find something that's not moving right out in front of you to maybe look at that can help you with stabilization. All right, now this is where you might want your prop. So if you have it nearby, you'll bring it. As you kind of lift that leg up off in the back, you can hold into your runner's lunge. Push off and balance. So I want you to kind of find that balance on the left foot. If you don't need your prop, you're going to the floor. We're going to hold that right leg up for just a split second and then place it back down beside the left. Hang over in your forward fold. Very nice. All right, guys, from here, we are going to step back with that right foot again. Find plank pose. Go way forward on the tippy toes and then all the way back. Downward dog. Our last balance posture for today. This is what we're going to hit. It's called balancing half moon. You will want your prop nearby if you think you need it. And we're going to start with that right leg. So take it up in the air just like we did before. But this time we're going to open the hips. So you're kind of twisting the hips, letting the heel fall back like you're trying to touch your heel to your glutes. Open up. And then we're going to bring the knee to the runner's lunge here, okay? Everybody good so far? All right, keep your little prop close by. In fact, you might even need it now. But what we're doing here is we're going to bring that back foot in just about half the distance from where it was, okay? So this is actually called pyramid pose. We want to straighten out the front knee, so get a nice straight leg. And what you might find if you have a tight hamstring is that your hip wants to open up to the side. Let me turn this way. So if you're in your pyramid pose, and pyramid is one foot in front of the other. So we want to make sure one foot right directly straight behind it is your other foot. And if you bend the front knee with your hands on the ground or with your hands on your prop, if you bend your knee and then straighten it, you'll automatically feel that stretch. Everybody feeling it in here? Yeah. All right. So what I want you to work or play with is shifting your weight forward onto that front leg. And then I also want you to play with this hip. So the hip wants to turn outward if you're tight in that hamstring. We're going to try to keep it down. So let's breathe through this. I know this is really a tight stretch for tight hamstrings. So if you have tight hamstrings, you should definitely be feeling this. Try to rock forward a little bit more. Get a little bit deeper into it. If you don't need your prop, your fingers are on the ground. And now what we're going to keep doing, this is the balance posture. Take your props, set it out in front of you, and I want you to walk forward. And if you're using that prop, you're putting some weight here, but don't put all of your body weight on your prop, okay? It's just there kind of for reference until this back leg can lift. So we're here in kind of this like, it's almost like a warrior posture. Sorry, I went blank. Warrior 3. But instead of staying in warrior 3, what we're going to do is open the hip like we did before on the other side. And once you start to do that, your left hand and your left leg are the ones lifting. Those automatically lift. So we're going to let it keep lifting. Open it up. This is balancing half moon. All of your weight on the right hand and right foot. If you need that prop, keep it. If you don't, you're on the ground. And then if you can change your vantage point, you're going to look out. If not, you're still here. Challenge yourself by looking a different direction. Hold it. Take a big deep breath. One more big deep breath. Bring both hands back to the ground. Both feet together. And let's hang over and forward fold for a second. If you need to shake it out, shake it out. Halfway lift, get some blood flow back into the rest of your body. And then from here, we're rolling up slowly. Roll up slowly. Really, really slow. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. How do we do? Balancing half moon. That's an advanced posture, so make sure you have your prop if you need it. You can also do this against the wall, and I'm not going to demo that today, but just so you know, you can have your back against the wall as well. Okay, that's another way to do it. All right, so back into our plank position. Let's swan dive. Forward fold. I want everybody to try it. Back to plank. Downward dog. Sorry about that, guy. All right, so we're taking right leg, or left leg this time, my bad. Left leg up and open. We're opening the hips, so take the heel back to the glute. Open it up nice and big, and then we're stepping all the way through. Big deep runner's lunge here. Grab your prop if you need it. It's right there by you. From here, we're going into the pyramid pose. So we lift our hips. Notice the distance here. You're stepping about halfway. And then placing that foot right behind the front foot. Play with the hip a little bit, just like we did before. Kind of open and close it. Once you feel like you've gotten it down, let's shift forward. We're putting weight in that left leg. Use your prop if you need to, if that's way too intense. And for a true pyramid pose, we have a flat back here, so it's like a forward fold with that flat back. Or a lifting halfway, I should say. All right, so don't put all of your weight here. You should be squeezing in through the stomach so that your hands are just kind of there to support you. And we're hanging out here for a reason. We want that to stretch. So take a big deep breath in. Allow your hamstring to stretch. Try to keep your hips kind of pushed back and up. and your chest goes forward and down. And then prepare for the balance portion. So the way we balance is take our prop out just a little bit further if you need to, or if it's your fingertips, you're gonna go out kind of in making a triangle here. And then we're gonna shift forward so that we can lift that leg up off the ground. Let's go back just a little bit. So shifting forward, keep all of your weight in the left leg as you lift the right leg first. Then open the hips and see my fingertips are coming off the ground because I can't maintain that. If my hips are open, my shoulders are gonna open too. So now that I have kind of a lift here, I'm gonna reach that arm up. Try to change my vantage point if I can. Hold it, breathe, squeeze, shake, wobble. Hold it one more breath longer than you think you can. And we'll bring hands back slowly. Flip back to meet the other one. Hang out in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, collapse. Reverse swan dive, take it out and up. Bring it through heart center. Very nice, guys. Back to your mountain posture. We're gonna stand in mountain with toes together, heels slightly apart. We're gonna keep the chin parallel to the floor as we relax the shoulders. So just bring some awareness here, up, back, and down with the shoulders. So today was all about balance, and I want you guys to remember balancing in life is important. Practicing physical balance is important. Mental balance is important too. So to keep yourself from overstressing, overstimulating, take some downtime. So I love this practice because it starts off kind of slow and then you build to this balancing. And if you're not used to balancing physically, it can be a very stressful thing. So it's nice to just recognize that balancing can be stressful, and we always need to take time if we're in a stressful position to then relax. So that's what we're doing now. So let's focus on our breath here for a moment. See how you feel. Balance the mind. Going back through that whole practice there, thinking back what was difficult for you. Let your mind focus on the things that were difficult. Maybe it was the stretching that was hard, that pyramid pose. Maybe it was the very beginning, and just taking your first steps in balance today with sunflowers and moonflowers. Be gracious with yourself and know that as you practice, those things get a little bit easier. Now I want you to take your focus onto the things that felt really good. So even if it was hard, maybe it felt good. Let's take our focus there. All right, on our next breath in, we're going to turn the knuckles forward, sweep the arms up, follow those thumbs up, kind of arch the back just a bit, bring it back down as you exhale. We're going to take the palms up to the sides, reach up, arch the back if that feels good. Bring it back down to your sides, and then one final breath together as we breathe in, reach up. Bring hands to heart center. Thank you guys for joining me. Namaste.